You're live.
All right, Instagram Live. Anywhere else?
Once you get these coasters, you're good to go.
All right. Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we live everywhere? So or not yet? On YouTube?
We should be live everywhere.
Yes. Okay.
So now, can you take this right here and share it? What's those three dots going to do? It will not let you share from YouTube right now.
I just need the link, though.
Hey everybody, David here from the Team Powerhouse Show, live with you every Tuesday night. In the hot seat, we have Miss Jennifer Crowley from Ask Insurance, the insurance queen of Connecticut.
Thanks, I'll take that.
Absolutely. And what Jennifer's doing right now is she's going to post a link. You can actually go to our Facebook page and post it from there. It might be a good idea.
Yeah.
She's trying to do a little link to share in her page on Facebook on what's happening live right now. So go to my page for a moment. And we are not live on my pages. Are we live on Facebook right now? Thing?
I'm watching it.
You are watching it. That is very interesting because I'm not seeing it live on her Facebook page, which is going to confirm all our details are working correctly. Yeah, we are live on our page for sure. Okay. So go to my page and I'm going to thank you for your patience. Go to my page and we're live. Put the C on the live in your phone.
Weird. That's okay.
Hold on a second. You know what? I know insurance. It is. Privacy. Make it public.
Okay.
Stay public. That's another thing that's been happening is stay public. Now there you go. Now you can share it. All right. We're learning some new things over here, everybody, from a social media situation that I need to check on Facebook to make sure that it's public. So, hello Facebook, hello Instagram, hello TikTok, hello hello YouTube, hello LinkedIn, hello X, hello everybody out who's watching the show. Thank you so much for being part of our show every week. We are learning and grooving and having some fun together. Jennifer Crowley, Ask Insurance. It's time to learn about insurance. We're going to go into specifically today. We're talking about home insurance.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that we need to know about is auto insurance. And many moms and dads and families and individuals who don't have great insurance or think they have great insurance or have maybe some young drivers coming to the family. There's so many questions to find out and learn about here that you need to know and understand and want to know and ask questions about insurance. Insurance rates are just going up.
Yeah.
It's nothing you can control. It is what it is.
Well, and this is, so I've been in insurance for just about 20 years.
That's a long time.
I've never seen anything like what we're dealing with lately. So
we individuals are also taking a hit on it. I know that you being in the insurance business, you don't get a better rate for insurance. I don't get a better rate because in real estate, we all are in the same boat as you are to make sure that together we can learn to protect ourselves and make sure we have coverage we need. Because if we don't, what's going to happen is
we're all paying so much.
So much.
You don't want to pay to keep not covered, right? Because you're paying so much.
And one more thing I want to say is if you get insurance and you just get the minimal insurance, you're basically waiting for things to happen, in my opinion, to yourself and something else. You're playing roulette, and it's a roulette that is like a Russian roulette because something bad is going to happen, and then you're going to lose everything. And you may not have anything to lose, you say to yourself, but do you really want to be at the fault if something bad happens to somebody and not going to help them out? I'm going to be very clear about this and very serious because we need to protect other people as well.
Right. Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Because there's a lot to cover here.
Yeah, there is a lot. And I mean, obviously, if there's any live questions, chat them in. We will answer them. I love kind of answering questions.
Absolutely. Live questions.
My favorite part of me.
And if you check this episode out after the live over, Now,
I still have
Jennifer,
some.
your contact information, I believe, is available on the screen. And is that your work number there on the screen, hopefully?
Yep, so
860
860, that's my work number, 218-9837.
thing. Awesome.
Text me there anytime, call me if you have questions.
There's some pictures there.
Send me your declaration pages, we'll review your coverages.
or maybe you had an accident. There's pictures of a thing that
Yeah.
happened. All right. So let's talk about what we're going to start with.
Okay, so recently, and I don't know if it's something in the air or not, I heard some planets are aligning.
Yeah.
However, I'm working with a lot, I want to say 10 plus different customers within the past 10 days or so.
Yeah.
That have either had a lapse in their coverage and are now seeking to get coverage after having a gap in coverage, or they have this state minimum liability for auto insurance, and their goal is to get their costs down further. And when you have the minimum coverage offered, there's not much room to change your coverage, right? Because you already have the minimum. But the scary part is, and every time I see coverage coming at me with the state minimum, I really I feel like you really don't know what you have. So let me teach you.
Or what you don't have.
Yes, that's what you don't have.
I'm going to say this. It's going to sound crazy. You're younger, you're older, middle age. We're all a lot of people think it's happening. We get it. I get it. Definitely get it for sure. That doesn't mean that you want to have a vehicle, a weapon, a vehicle that you love, you care about, and something like accidents happen. That's why they call them accidents. They did on purpose. Right. And with that being said, if you don't have the right insurance, two things can happen. So here, one, your insurance is good insurance. Two, you're probably going to get sued by somebody because you have insurance. And what you're worth, you don't have, and what kind of things can happen to your paychecks, the future of your life because you didn't have the right insurance, it could be catastrophic. Is that too grim?
Well, I mean, it's true. So nobody thinks that anything will happen to them, right? What are the chances that's not going to happen? Every day there are hit and run accidents all over the news. So it's not your fault. Somebody hit you and then you waited to see. So you didn't do anything wrong. You were the good driver. You were doing everything right. You were just the wrong thing. But now you're left financially to fix your vehicle.
Yes.
I saw, someone commented on a post the other day. They were sitting at a red light and got rear-ended at a very high rate of speed because someone wasn't paying attention and didn't see the light turn. And they're like, I'm having PTSD from that. And they didn't have insurance, or they evaded the scene, or whatever. Fix your car, but there's other things that you have to deal with after an accident like that. And the only thing you can control is what you choose to have on your own coverage. I can't control what everybody else has, right?
It's funny you mention that. One of the things that frustrates me personally when it has happened, you get hit. That person doesn't have insurance. And I got to go through your own insurance for coverage. But thank God you have that insurance to cover it. But it doesn't make you feel any better financially or emotionally because you're angry. But better be angry or frustrated with insurance and coverage to protect yourself versus not. Because just fix it if you have the money to fix it. Unless you have the insurance, which is going to be what's going to cover a large majority of it, if not all of it. And then you might need physical therapy to some degree because of the accident. That if you don't have that, how much is your personal insurance going to cover? How does that work? Mm-hmm. So you definitely want to protect yourself. I'm sorry for this.
Well, and I'm a consumer too, right? So I've been licensed since I was 18. I had my own car since I was 18. I paid my own insurance since I was 18, and I was always under the impression, why pay for something I don't have to have? So when you go to register a vehicle, the state of Connecticut, which I'm in, only requires you to carry $25,000 per person for insurance to others. They don't require you to cover damage to your vehicle. They don't require you to carry higher liability. That's the minimum to get a license plate on your vehicle. And when you don't know better, you just do the minimum to get your car registered. I just want to drive, right? I want to get back to work. I got my car's legal because I have minimum liability. What happens is now if you fast forward and now you get into an accident, right? So I've said this before, but I was on a jury for a car accident. I don't know which guy wanted me in the court.
Did you know you were in insurance?
Oh, I told him I was injured in an accident.
Yeah, insurance.
How I got on that jury.
You.
But I'm so glad I did. And I know everybody likes jury duty. I really enjoyed that because when two sides don't agree, right? So you hit me, our insurance companies aren't in liens in court. Things to understand. As a juror, they don't tell you if there's insurance involved. They don't want you to say, oh, they only have $100,000, let's just settle it for that. I have no idea if there's coverage. Your job in that jury room is to listen to all the facts, determine who's at fault, and we were handed a calculator.
Wow.
This is this percentage of disability. And in this case, it was a soft tissue neck injury. No broken bones. No, he walked in and out of the courtroom for the 3 days we were there. He had no loss of limb, no blood at this point. Like, not a bad accident. Not a bad accident.
It doesn't mean that person doesn't feel pain and suffering in evenings and days.
And when you see, like, how much worse it could have been, right?
Why is it per se? Why do they worse, right? But at the same time, you don't know what they're going through. And by the pain that they feel now doesn't mean that they feel worse than they're on.
Right.
And by the way, as we get older, as we now know, and I'm using you played sports when you were a kid. And now you're 50. You went you were hit by a truck, right? No one told you when you were 16, 17, 18, 19 in college playing these sports, right? That you were going to feel pain when you get older because you shouldn't play these certain sports. But now you go to the gym, you work out, you're always in pain, you're uncomfortable. You know, people say, what? Just make jokes and say, watch it. You know, like, so, but my point is coming back to the analogy of a person into an accident.
Well, so, I mean, when you think of what could have happened and what you're suing for, this was not a terrible case. And when they gave us that calculator, this is his percentage of disability. This is how old he is. This is what his annual income is. This is how much longer he's expected to live.
Mm-hmm.
These are his medical bills. Or live.
Because my son was, they said, well, he's 21 years old, and he's expected a man last to the age of 75 or 78. I said, it's crazy, these guys.
Like, you're disabled this for the rest of your life. And when we added it all up, it settled for $300,000 for a single man who was suing. So now let's go to your auto policy. The state requires you to carry $25,000. You just got sued and held liable for $300,000. Where's the other $275,000 coming from? This is what's so scary because I would lose my house, right? I would have to take a lien on my house. I would probably have to sell some assets. I don't have $300,000 lying around in a savings account, and I'm just ready to be like, oh, I don't have that. Right. And that's why I choose to pay my premiums and transfer that risk out of my personal pocketbook to the insurance company. And that's what an insurance policy is. You're transferring the risk from you and your assets to an insurance company. So now when the insurance company is going to take on this risk, we do have to ask personal questions. We do have to find out who's driving your vehicles.
Right.
Are you commuting to work and parking there all day and then just home? Are you a realtor where you're all over the state at any given time and road? How far did you commute? Is it 5 miles? 35 miles?
As a consumer, some of the questions aren't fair. Just because you time pay for all the time, because of that situation.
Well, so I'm 6 months into my new position, my new agency. April 1st was 6 months. And before that, I worked from home. I'm telling you, my first day commuting on the Merritt Highway for 35 miles, I witnessed 3 accidents. And I was like, no wonder I discount for working from home.
Right.
Because my car's in the garage all day. Nothing's happening to it.
That just brought out that we were talking about. So if you work from home, You get a discount. Correct?
If you're working from home and you're not, that's like your usage. And
That's what it sounds.
this is where when I am working with people to review their insurance, I'm asking all of these. They'll send me their insurance and say, "I want you to give me what I have, but meet my rate." I don't know where those coverages came. Did you have an in-depth conversation with Geico and choose this because they gave you all of your options and that's what you ultimately wanted? Did someone give you insurance and you just thought everything was covered and you really don't understand it all? And was it 5 years ago and now you were commuting, but now you work from home? Like, I want to find out what is your deal today?
And people who wants to share their information with you. No one wants to. You're like the bad guy all of a sudden. They're asking those
I
questions.
know.
You're not the bad guy.
I know.
You need to know these things.
And I can hear it in their voice.
Right, you feel
And
it
I
there,
can
like,
hear it in their voice. So what do you need that for? And I'm like, I need it so I can help you. Like,
Not
I
nice,
really
Jennifer,
want
not
to
nice.
do. I really want to do my best job
Right.
to advise you and maximize every discount we can. I don't want you to pay for things you don't need. And sometimes I see that. I'm like, wait a minute. You have this stuff, like it's stuff they see as like roadside service. You're paying $100 a year for AAA. Why are you paying $30 a year for roadside service here? That's too big. That's what I'm looking at, all of the details, and asking what's current. What is it today? I know you're rated this way from 3 years ago, but what's changed? Like, what can we do that's current for you today? If we can get through that, and I can hear their voice change when they realize, like, oh, she's actually helping me. Like, I don't want to just sell you something that's not going to protect you,
She's
but
on your team. You know,
yeah,
it doesn't emotionally feel like
you feel like you're getting scammed.
you're not scammed. You feel like you're getting whipped. Right? I mean, like, it's going to scam me here. It's like, okay, if I had this, boom, I had this, boom. But at the same time, there's maybe something we can add to track.
And I'm looking for things that we can adjust.
Right.
Like maybe we need to give you better liability coverage, not the minimum, but maybe we can offset that by you choosing a higher deductible, right? So there are things that you can decide, but when you understand what those decisions are in financial impact, you can make a better decision. And it's my job to really go through with you line by line. Do you want this? Do you want this different? And I'll explain it to you. And then you decide. And if you're comfortable with it, we do it.
You also mentioned something very important. There's a line by line, which is over number. There's a lot of things you can go through questions that you can kind of go through. And again, there's more questions you're going to get Jennifer maybe on your comment. Geico, for example. Not to speak back to Geico, but realistically, if you're going to Geico and you say to yourself, well, you need the cheapest coverage, you're calling 1-800 number to get Geico, right? You're getting somebody on the phone that probably is not experienced, which will sell you. In they lock you up, boom, they made a sale. They made $20, $50, $100, it's done. You got some insurance, they made a sale, it's done. Here's the problem. How much education, experience, knowledge, I was thinking experience matters. 20 years of experience. It's a lot of knowledge. And maybe sometimes knowledge we don't want to know, but it's better to know than not know.
Nobody wants to know it's our head.
But it's better to know than not know. Because at the end of the day, it's like you're investing in your life, in your property, future. Realistically, it's your future.
Yeah.
And it's your future of big financially. So what happens if you now can't get coverage for the car because of this insurance policy you have? And now other insurance companies later on say, oh, yeah, that's not the person I want. Now you go to a different group, and now your insurance is even higher. I'm just assuming I have.
Yeah, no, that's true because you're rated on, your accidents, your tickets, your moving, like your driving habits. You are a reckless driver. You have multiple speeding tickets and 2 accidents with an excess. You're going to hit a person. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I'm going to touch on speeding for a second. I think all of us, first of all, I think the speed limits are too low. Yeah, I mean that out of respect. I mean, you have a speed limit system. I've never seen, you rarely see anybody drive 55. And if they drive 55, they probably can't see over they probably can't see over the steering wheel. Right? It's probably like they shouldn't be driving. So there's a flex speed limits, but 65. But the traffic That's a real average flow of traffic.
Have you ever been, and when I'm driving, I'm constantly looking at my side mirror, like all of a sudden when this car is coming up at like 90 miles per hour
Right.
behind you and you can see them weaving
Yes.
behind you, like that gets me tense up because I'm like, where is the car going next?
Right.
Like that's a reckless driver, right? Where you can't predict your next move. And then when you're scaring people, like the motorcycles that go in between lanes,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
you're scaring the drivers around you. That driver locks up, slams on their brakes, and then the car behind hits them. Like,
Right.
what if they jerk their wheel because they hear this loud sound out of nowhere and it's just scared them? And they turn.
I don't think anybody's like, again, not taking the motorcycles. I'm not taking
Yeah.
You got the cruisers and you got the rockets. And even if you get a rocket and you don't drive it like one, it's different. But if you're coming in and zipping and people, it's a noise that if you hear it for the first time,
Out of nowhere.
And you're a younger driver or an intense driver, because not everybody's full confident when they drive. While they should be, it's not everybody.
Right.
And that is a very dangerous situation that can create a massive amount of problems for a lot of people that didn't deserve to have that or get sidetracked.
Well, and then same thing. So my dad has a motorcycle, and I remember when I was first getting my license for insurance, obviously I'm reaching out to my parents, like, hey, let me look at your policy.
No, get somebody else already.
And one of the things, and this has sat with me all of these years because he, on his motorcycle insurance specifically, there's a coverage for liability. So coverage for when you were at fault for injuring somebody else or doing property. The other part on your auto insurance is called uninsured motorist coverage. This is coverage for you. You are injured, but you're hit by somebody that has less insurance or no insurance or it's a hit and run. So on his auto insurance, he had 250, 500 liability, 250, 500 uninsured motorist, which is okay. That's great. On his motorcycle, he had the 250, 500 liability and 100 uninsured motorist. So that's weird. So my question is, why did you choose that? Right? Because you had to have chosen. And I said, Dad, why would you have chosen that? He said, for motorcycle insurance, and that's what they gave me. And that, I never want one of my clients to say that. I want you to understand what you are choosing and make the right choice for you. Whether it's something I suggest and feel you should have, you disagree, you're still making the choice yourself.
At least you know the options. And there's a fight between here and there. There's have to be all the way here, but someone that stops.
There could be wow, I didn't realize I had.
Not even a question, but Cecilia Elizabeth said, hello, Jennifer. Thank you so much for your help. You're awesome and so helpful.
Oh, thank you.
Great people. And that's the American dream right there. Such an amazing family. Cece and her family. Oh my God.
We also have Patrick Pagano said watching with Daniel.
And my son are in Florida in Boca.
My sister's in Florida right now. She just flew down today.
That's okay. Yes. Thank you guys for watching the show. Awesome stuff. Best buddy there and my son.
So just because you have some income, you might not be able to afford to jump to 4 levels to where I would recommend you be. But now you're aware of the gap, and now you can be like, okay, I called you to save me money, but now you just got something to my attention where I need different coverage. Maybe this year we go to this level, and next year we review that. So you want to have an agent that you can have these discussions with and kind of grow as you're growing. It doesn't have to be a set it.
There's a tax write-off for insurance, right? There's some kind of value added in. Am I wrong? I'm making this up as how much insurance you pay for is tax write-off.
Not unless
maybe if you're a business, that's what. Okay, so if you're using your vehicle as a business expense, right? You want to have good insurance. I believe. Don't quote me on this. Not financial. This is not financial advice, but I believe it's some kind of get your taxes out of that. All right. Before I put my finger in my mouth anymore, go ahead. I'm sorry. What else you got over here? Because I just kind of jumped over.
And again, I will always quote as accurate as possible. So,
people out there and they call you the first time and they're a little nervous to call you because like, oh, gosh, Jennifer's going to be my client. Do you just like say, okay, listen, you here's the worst case scenario and best coverage. Here's the middle case, and here's where we've not touched a lot. Is there something like that where you have options for people, and then how many people, family, kids involved, especially?
Yeah.
Because that's where things get wonky.
We do have options. So anybody that owns a home or has assets, right? You could be a renter and still have a ton of assets, whether it's high value vehicles or investments and things like that. If you are a target to be sued, you want to have the right insurance in place. So if you're driving a cyber truck, or if you're driving a high-end, Mercedes or a Porsche, I drive a Sedona. He has kind of a target, right?
Don't
I love my Sedona. But what I'm saying is, depending on the vehicle you're driving, you are also putting an image out. So if somebody got rear-ended by a brand new Porsche versus a banged up Civic Coupe from 1999, the person that you hit is going to think who has your pockets.
Right.
All of your money could be in that Porsche for all they know.
Right. You're absolutely right.
But your image shows different.
$1.
Yes. And now go to the whole state and the highway every quarter of a mile. There's another litigation attorney go for it. The state is very litigious. As soon as you are at fault and somebody goes to talk to a friend, oh my gosh, I got rear-ended. I can get down on this. I'm going to sue. Whether they're injured or not, you can be sued. And then it goes to, are you really injured? What's the real claim, right? And all the investigation. But you're putting this image out there that makes you a bigger target than others. And that's what you need to realize. You want the nice car. And driving the nice car and having the nice assets comes with responsibilities to protect yourself from losing it. And that's what's like, very scary.
It's very scary. It's kind of like
yes,
right? Like people typically want to go with the cheapest insurance. It's just sidebar for 1 second. They want the cheapest insurance possible per month, which is fair and reasonable to some degree up front. Then you think about the most important value item you own, and then something happens. It could be somebody coming into your house and gets hurt.
Yep.
Your house to unrelated, unexpected situation. I don't know. If a tree falls in your house, it's different, but it's not. And if a tornado happens, it's different, but it's not. And if you have a rodent problem in your house, there's so many elements of it, but it's the most important aspect. What's the second most expensive thing you own? Besides kids, which are expensive. Sure. And when you have kids, you can protect them. Let your kids right. What's important is, people who left your kids, you need to make sure your kids are protected. Now, it sucks because kids' insurance is so expensive.
Well, because they're inexperienced.
They are.
Right? So it's hard to rate a risk when you don't know anything about the risk.
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm the kids driving in general. But there are more good driving kids than bad driving kids. And there's a very tough job to parents because, you raise your kid right, responsible. That doesn't mean that they're experienced. It doesn't mean they're driving like that. It just means that their reaction time may be different. Their experience and how to handle the car may be different. You know that as a parent. What your reaction to react to things. Right?
So I'll tell you, I'm 45. And every time, but every time I enter a Route 15 stop sign entrance,
the worst.
Right? So you're trying to get onto basically a highway from a dead stop.
You need to have like a race car.
So, but here's the thing. When I was getting my license around 16, every time I come to one of these, I think, what he told me then and tells me every time in my own head now is, don't even look to go until the car is gone.
That's 100% the most important.
Because what happens? You're looking, you're trying to get traffic, the car in front of you looking, you see them a little bit, so you're looking, and then you gun it because you're going from stop 0 to 60, and guess what? That car hesitated a little bit and moved. So now I sit there, I just sit there, I wait for my car to go before I even start looking. Because because I can't trust that car in front of me to keep going. You
I
know.
was in my late 30s, early 40s, and it happened to me. Okay, and I'll tell you something. My son, from the moment he's had the car, I taught him the exact same thing. You don't even start working cars at all
Yep.
until that car in front of you is gone on the highway. That's one of the most important pieces of advice you mentioned on camera here on this podcast
Thanks,
to
Deb.
all adults and kids, because everybody does it at a habit. They're doing this, doing this.
Just on my way here today, somebody because I took the merit from Stratford to here, and I'm in the right lane, and I see this car hitting it on the entrance ramp, and like I'm nervous now. I can't get over it. There's a car to my left, and I don't know if you're going to stop like the stop sign tells you you're supposed to, or if you're gunning it because you think you're just going to come in, and it's like then I have to slam on my brakes to make room for you.
And now it's something maybe don't stop.
Like
a yielding space.
Yep.
Which is a good thing, because there are a lot of spots between Hamden and Orange. I can tell you a couple of exits.
Okay.
Right? Exactly. So, and when you're getting on the highway, it's my personal advice. You cannot tell mentally or emotionally how fast that car is coming.
Or the one from the left lane is going to come over at the last minute, and you're only checking the right one.
Which is also a good point. But I tell my son, I tell my wife, when you get on the highway, I don't know how fast your car can go. Tell us you get the bottom of that thing, and you should put every bit of torque to that car
You got
to get on the highway. And then just get on the highway so you don't get hit the tush. And then, because you're not going to drive 100 miles an hour in 5 seconds unless you're driving like M4.
BMW.
Or some kind of a race car. But the point is that you really need to make sure you're on the highway. Because if somebody gets hit, well, come on the highway, whose fault is it? Is the person getting on the highway? Is the person hit them? How fast are they coming? Nobody knows. I think that even in driving school, they don't prepare you as drivers at all for what you're going to experience. These are the things that they don't work on with kids or even adults who are getting
When was
their
the
license.
last time you went to driver's ed?
16 years old. Right? 50, 51 in June.
I honestly feel every 8 years we should have some sort of driver retraining. Whether it is a
simple,
quick little online
they make
course,
us do it for
something.
insurance. They make us do it for
I know.
this
I
thing,
have
right?
to do every 2 year, what is continuing education to get my license to talk to you about this stuff. But you can go renew your license well into your 80s and never be retested or retracked or.
Imagine living in Florida with my son got hit. An older man in his 80s. I think fell asleep at the window, right? It was driving at the end, I think, because it's insane. You've got to make sure you got to make sure you have good coverage because you don't know who the people are. Most of the time, not your fault,
right?
And you need to have good insurance coverage for yourself. And also, yada yada. And then we're going to keep this conversation. We have so much more to talk about. Do you want to talk about anything else quickly before we jump out of it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm willing to have a conversation with him, and just.
Is it only in Connecticut, or can you do it outside the state?
No, so I'm not in all 50 states any longer, but I'm in Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Indiana.
Wow.
So we have.
Anybody else any questions out there? Insta, Facebook, YouTube. Now, if you guys have questions later on, definitely reach out to Jennifer. She's a resource. It's phenomenal. I have friends all over in the different states. Pennsylvania, New York, Florida. So you should definitely have a chance to speak with her. Get to know her. Ask her questions. It doesn't hurt to ask. She's a great resource, and she'll probably have a fair and reasonable quote for you. And make sure you have good insurance, most importantly, right?
And if I can't, and I always say this, if I can't save you and recommend switching, whether it be I can't get better coverage or I can't get a better price, I've told people yesterday, I can't do better, but please call your agent and ask this, 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 and this. And I got an email back from somebody the other day that said, thank you, Jen. I called and we were able to save $550 by increasing my deductible. That they wouldn't have known to ask that had we not had our conversation. So they didn't switch policies. They're not my client today, but they still appreciated the time it took to kind of go over some options with
I want
them.
to ask you one more question. I understand there are certain insurance companies that are better for young drivers. And I don't mean that they're cheaper necessarily, but they're better because of the protection they offer, or maybe they're less expensive, or
Yeah, there's
Travelers, I understand, is a good company for young drivers. Is that fact?
Travelers has some options, but there's things you can sign up for, like there's smartphone apps that you can. A lot of companies now have available that will allow you to monitor driving habits.
Okay.
So some of them, like the kids, can earn Amazon rewards or something like that.
Okay.
So that's a way for the parents to get their children to drive well, right? But there's all the discounts too. So did you take driver's ed? Do you have a B average in school?
Does that still work?
Yes.
How about college?
As long as they're a full-time student with a 3.0 or higher, and I think it's under 23, they are under 23, you can qualify for that good student discount. So a lot of parents don't, your kid has a 2.75, well, tell them how much it's going to save them if they get a 3.0.
Tell them if they don't get a 3.0 that they got to pay for their own insurance.
Yeah, I mean, we can work together here.
Right. All right, everybody. I want to thank you so much for being part of our show. We're going to go to the next part of the show where we give a free tumbler out. It's going to be not that one here. I apologize.
Not my coffee.
And not this one here, but it's going to be a brand new, beautiful tumbler, 20-ouncer, laser engraved. Love to get it to you. If you want to win one of these tumblers, again, please let us know. Reach out to us through social media, or you can even call me and get your name, email, and phone number so we can get in contact with you first and send you that tumbler. All right, Thane, let's go to the videotape and let's get that winner.
Wheel spin.
Sometimes we hear it.
We got Robert N. And it doesn't say off any Instagram or social media.
Well, Robert N., we want to thank you so much for being a part of our show. Please reach out to us. We don't know which handle you went on. I don't know why, because it wasn't labeled. And that's not our man over here, Thane's fault. That was somebody before him. But again, we want to make sure that we get you a tumbler. We want to thank you so much again for everybody being a part of our show every week. We appreciate you, your audience, your time. And
Yeah,
hopefully, and listen, we hope that they've learned something and enjoyed
I
it.
hope so.
And thank you for
I
being
could talk
awesome.
a lot.
Listen,
So hopefully it went to somebody that needed it.
and this is part of the reason why we have to have you on the show, because we know there's so much to talk about. Every couple of months I said, Jen, we want to get you back on the show because it's a refresher. You may have seen it before, but maybe you didn't do it. And then you're like, oh, shit, that's Jen. Oh, sorry. There's Jennifer again, and we need to get Jen back on the show.
And we always run out of time.
We run out of time. Because what happens, once we break that 30-minute mark, people start to go, okay, I need to go and, do something, make a potty break or something. We'll have Jennifer back. Thank you again for being on the show. We appreciate you guys very much, and we'll see you next week. And by the way, one more thing. Eric Vasquez was not here today. He got held up with work and traffic and everything else, so we apologize for that.
Miss you, Eric.